Okay, today we're going to go through the steps of a change order. So, change orders typically come from either construction bulletins or RFPs. For what we do here, we upload everything onto the job details and under construction bulletins. So what happens is if the admin, when adding a construction bulletin, if they click, will this require a change order, then you'll actually get a task that will say that this needs a new change order based on that proposal. So if they're able to look at it, like let's see here, the one we're going to do today is for a Dakin unit. No, I'm actually on the wrong job. It's not on here. Awesome. Okay, so this next one is not actually on here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go through the process so you can see it. What uploading the bulletin looks like. So none of these are on here. Let's see here. Okay, so the one we're looking for right now is called Data Room. I just passed it. It's searching because now I can't. Data Room Cooling. Okay, so this is what we're actually going to upload onto the app because this is the one we're going to be working on. So bulletin number is 47, and then we're going to write the file name right here. What's the bulletin reference? It is CB047222-Data Room Cooling. Okay, now will this require a CO? So when you look at this, right, it does, this one actually does say it does have request for proposal checked off. So what you'll have to read is in the description down here. And a lot of times they don't check that box. So you kind of have to look through it and see if it'll specify work that needs to be done for you. Okay. So now that we've got that uploaded and you've gotten to look at that, actually, I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to drop it right there. And I'm going to click, will this require a change order? Are there updated prints and specs in the CB? No. And then I'm going to hit save. So what that should do, when you go back to the job dashboard, it's going to take a second. Okay, we go back to the job dashboard and you can see right here, down here, there is a change order for CB. Will require a change order, and that should be assigned to Luke Russo, who is the PM on this project, and he should also get an email with that. So now that that's done, we're going to open Change Order Pro. And if these are not individual change orders, okay? These are jobs that hold change orders within them. So if you click on Site Center, this has already been set up in 2024. You can see there's numerous change orders in here. So we're going to just go to the next one in the list. It's going to be 26. We don't need live count for this. We are going to do a takeoff of what that is. So in the field, the foreman had given what this one would be. So we're not going to actually go through the full takeoff process. So this one is more or less just to show you how to do the state work ones. Okay, so from what he said, it's got about 200 feet of conduit. So we're going to go common assemblies, which has a bulk of basically everything you would need for conduit. So we're going to put it on concrete, and we are going to go with 3 number 12 wires, because that is what our bulletin specified, I believe. Yeah, 3 number 12s, indoor unit to outdoor unit. And then a 1/2 inch conduit they want separate for controls. Okay. So we know that was about 200 feet. And what I do is I usually take this length and I divide it by 10 because what happens down here is you're going to have more than that amount of couplings and stuff like that. Same thing for straps. You only have 1 right now. So I'll usually take this and I'll go count 20, and I do about 10% to get everything back up to a more reasonable number. Hit okay. And then we also know that we have a 1/2 inch conduit, so I'm also going to do a 1/2 inch conduit. There's no wire, so you have to look for one of these. And we're going to do about 50 feet of that. Okay, now since it's a change order, right, and this is material only, we're going to want to make sure that we carry a disconnect. A motor connection, right? We're going to put this one on there. And then we are also going to put a disconnect on there. So we're going to put a NEMA 3R on there. Okay. So since it's state work, you can see right here, I have it's already defaulting to state work material only. So I have it set up, if you're doing state work, you have to set your project up with that initially. So that's going to be anything that's like a Dasny, an OGS, and you have to get them to agree to be able to use our system. So the reason they can is because ours actually gives the manufacturer their catalog number, and their price code, so they can actually look this up themselves if need be. And that's basically everything you've got right there. So with this, all right, we have just material. That's all we need. It's 26. We need to write notes in here. So we're going to write basically in the notes section down here on change order, we're going to write what this is in reference to. And that's where you reference the CB in there. So this is CB 47 Dakin unit. And wiring. So CB47, electrical split unit feed, conduit, and wiring. Okay, and then you just leave that like that. And then what you're going to do is you're not using the direct labor portion of this state materials one, because state is materials only and they have you use their form. So then what you're going to do is hit print. Okay. And what you're going to go from there is Microsoft Print to PDF. Okay. And then you're going to go to, I like to save this either in downloads or desktop. I actually have a temporary files thing because this is only going to be something I'm going to use and then get rid of. Because I'm going to be combining it with something else, with the, I'm essentially going to be attaching it to the Dasny form that I'll show you next. So this is going to be CB 47 split unit material backup. Okay. So I'm going to save that. Then from here, we're going to go to change orders sent, and I believe is it CB47. So we're going to make a new folder. PCO dash, oh, I don't know, it's definitely, this is all we're showing is here is 12. CB-47, and this is split unit, okay? You just got to make it something that somebody can reference it later on. And what you're going to do is you're going to copy this change order proposal form from another CO, and you're going to paste that in here. And then same thing, you're going to take your temporary file that you just had, you'll cut that, you'll bring that and put that in here. Oh, this is executed, I'm sorry. And put this in here as well too. Okay, now this is where you have to kind of work with the state stuff. So what we have with the state, anytime you do a state job is, and this is a lot of jobs too, it's not just the state ones, you have to get your labor rates approved, right? So what you'll see right here is our local 86 area electric labor rates. And these are our approved amounts right here. And then if you look right here, that's the description of who you're using, small job foreman. Medium job foreman, etc. Right? So you have to make journeyman. So I didn't really submit anything for apprentices because I just don't want to factor that time in there because they're cheaper. So this is a whole separate thing that you have to fill out, and this is something you probably need Jess or I's assistance with getting sorted out. So, all right, after you get that, so this is the last one we submitted has the appropriate labor rates in there, which is why we copy and pasted that one from a prior, and this is all the same. So we're going to say, when we start on the material worksheet, right, that's where we're going to look at the change order material backup that we made. So 712.24 is our total material amount because there's no markup placed, there's no markup placed on these ones either in the state job. So it's just straight 712.24. So on that change order proposal form, we are going to go 712.24, and we put C attached material sheet. So after that, we're going to attach the material sheet in there. Once we print this whole thing up, we'll attach that sheet so they can see it. Okay, so now this is our labor worksheet, and it is not zoomed in at all. Okay, so here's where you're going to write your work description, right? And you're going to use one of those two rates. So I have it kind of split between journeyman and foreman. So for something like this, right? So we're going to clear everything existing in there. You'll clear the hours too. I'm going to leave them right now just because running conduit. Okay, and then we'll put and pulling wire. Okay. And this doesn't have to be anything perfect. It's just going to be something that makes sense to them. Mounting disconnect and tying in equipment. Okay. And then lastly, let's see here, startup and testing. You want to try to put as much as you can out there, right? So I'm not going to have anything for this last one. So we're going to leave that blank, right? So let's see here. Running conduit and pulling wire, that's going to be 16. Mounting, disconnect, and tying in equipment, we're going to put 8 hours in for that. And then for this, we are going to say startup and testing, we're going to put 3 hours. And just in case something goes wrong, right? So this is actually a little low. I could actually probably have this. If it's 200 feet away, split unit's usually about $35,000 to $4,000. So we're closing in on that. So let's crank this up higher, see what they come back with. Though they can always just reject it and then tell you no and ask you to reduce it. So it's always better to go a little bit higher. So if you have more line items here, you can justify putting more stuff in there. But this one's not. Row 30, we're going to see what they say. Okay. Okay, so we'll leave that like that. So all these numbers right here from your labor rate worksheet, if you had more, you could go on this page, your material worksheet. Same thing. So the other option that you would have to do for this is you would have to send out a quote to vendors for everything you intended on using, and then they'd have to give you a quote back and you'd have to attach that. So if you have equipment, you're going to write that in here. So if I have a lift, and we actually have to get these pages from a blue book pricing, which is pretty annoying. But we don't have any of that on this one. And there's also tools. I'm trying to see if they have any more. This is for unit pricing. We don't really have any unit pricing for this one. And then your contractor proposal, okay? So you're gonna put in for change order. So it takes your total from your labor. It takes your total from your material. We don't have any equipment. We don't have any unit costs not laid out there. Our subtotal is 4,215. Our markup and profit, which is automatically done, is 20%. And then what I like to do is I like to take this entire booklet, print, and you have to make sure that you put entire workbook, okay? And then just peruse through it. Okay, you're going to print it to a PDF. You're going to store it in that folder we were just working on. Okay, and this is going to be CB47 Dasny sheets filled. You're going to save that. You're going to go back to the folder. You're going to make sure you save this workbook before you close it out too. So it's got auto save on, but definitely want to make sure. Okay, so now this is saved. You've got a filled one, so if you have to go back and make adjustments, this one will be null and void. So then what we're going to do is we are going to pick these two. And if you hold down the control button, that's how you can go over something. Just a little tip, if you go shift, it'll pick everything, right? From start, shift, down, hold control there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show more options. And I'm going to combine these files in Revu. And the order is actually off right here. So I'm going to move that to the front. I want the Dasny sheet to the front. I want split unit in the back. You're going to use source file folder and you're going to CB47 filled with backup. And then you are going to hit, so source file folder saves it in the folder you're working in. And then this is just the file name that it's going to be. You're going to hit OK. You're going to hit staple. And then, okay, so you're going to hit staple. Oh, it already did save it. I'm sorry. I can't. So this is actually already open. Save job before exiting. No. So this is your sheet right now. CB47, and this is filled with backup. Okay. So after this, what you're going to do is you are going to forward this to Carmen and she will upload it from there. And that's it. And then she'll log it on the app and take care of everything else that needs to happen after that.